Good morning. My name is Rebekah Cox. I was the first employee, and I'm currently one of 4 product designers at Quora. And Quora is a place for sharing your knowledge broadly on a number of different topics. So I just want to say it's a great time to be a designer. Particularly in the Valley, there is this tremendous groundswell of support for and interest in design. And that's because design is proven again and again to be a clear competitive advantage. And at Quora, we share in this enthusiasm. We have created this culture from the very beginning to not only encourage great design, but also to enable really great designers. However, it's not totally lost on me that Quora appears to be one of the least designed sites on the internet. It's dark and red and text-heavy, and so how can I claim to care so much about design and yet create such a minimal product? Well, I think it's important to understand that design is a word where people often hold a purely intuitive definition. Some people think it's the visual style, some think it's the interactions, and other people think that design begins and ends at the logo. So when I began at Quora, I knew that one of my most important tasks was to think about a really simple definition of design, and it didn't have anything to do with Python or JavaScript. And so this is how we've defined design at Quora. Design is a set of decisions about a product. So it's not an interface, and it's not the logo. It doesn't have anything to do with the logo. The design is the actual decisions, and designing is actually making decisions. So this definition, it actually shapes our approach in a number of different ways. And some of the really big benefits that we get from thinking about design as a set of decisions are, first, it really concentrates attention on the things that matter most, and it really empowers us to think through all these things that we need to get done. And that creates this clear relationship between a product and its interface. Ultimately, your product isn't going to be defined by any one big thing. It's actually going to be all these little decisions you make along the way. And when you think critically about those little decisions, you're not only thinking about the location or style of a dropdown, you're also thinking about all the reasons that dropdown has to exist in the first place. The second big benefit we get from thinking about design in this way is it really concentrates attention where it matters most, on the goals and purpose for a particular product. There's a lot of things that you can do, but design should really be about determining what you should do. And you can create the coolest looking product in the world, but if you haven't spent time thinking through all the reasons and all the incentives for people to use your products, it really doesn't matter. Finally, this definition is actually a vehicle which enables us to create a role for designers within the organization where authority and responsibility are balanced. It clearly creates focus on that. So designers should be able to do more than apply a coat of paint on the end of a finished product. And they should be able to think very critically about where a problem originates and then have the authority to actually create the best solution in whatever form it might take. And the reason we think about this is simple. It's because we really believe that great design is all the work that you don't ask the people who use your products to do. It's all the decisions that you don't ask a user to make because you've already spent countless hours determining the best one. Now, as designers, this is our opportunity, and this is our job to create these awesome tools. But if we don't think about problems and if we don't understand them, then we'll miss the fact that the problems you choose to solve are just as important as how you solve them. And so design can mean a lot of things, and it can become as complicated as other products can sometimes become. But the important thing to remember is that how you think about design will influence every decision you make and all these little details that ultimately comprise your product. And so this is why we think about design as decisions at Quora, because the design drives everything forward, and these decisions drive the product forward. And so at Quora, designers are actually driving the product forward. And they're working on these really hard problems, and they're working with these tremendously brilliant engineers. And together, they're trying to reach this goal, this crazy goal, of trying to help people share their knowledge with each other. And so thank you for allowing me to share Quora's definition of design with you. If you have any questions for me, please feel free to ask me on Quora. Thank you.